everyone, welcome to my channel. My name's Nicole and I am on a quest or journey, as you could say, of self-discovery and self-love. And if that's something you're interested in following along on, please hit the subscribe button. If you want to know my why, I'll put a link to my first video down below. But here is the how I plan on doing this. I have always been all or nothing. It's like you go full throttle, you do the diet, and then I just burn out. I don't want this to be the case in this situation. So there are 4 areas that I want to focus on. I'm going to list out the 4 areas first, and then I'm going to go into more detail about each one of the areas and document my improvement as I go. But let's talk about the 4 things, 4 areas, and then I'll give a little bit of detail on what my goals in each one of those areas are, and you can decide if that suits you. If it doesn't, do it your way. I'm just showing the way I'm planning on doing it. Anyway, so the 4 areas, and I know these are all in agreement with everybody, that these are a priority to have a balanced life. The first area is nutrition. Second is movement/exercise, and I'll go into detail about those later, about what I mean by that. Third is sleep, and 4th is mindfulness and stress management. You've got to have these balanced in order to be healthy and happy. So now I'm going to talk about each one of those pillars and where I stand as is right now, what I've done in the past, and what my plans are in the future. So pillar number 1, which is nutrition. I grew up on a very processed diet. I don't remember, I think I was an adult before I realized what real mac and cheese was, and it wasn't the kind that comes out of a blue box and has powdered cheese. I grew up on Cokes. I grew up on sweet tea. So did not have the healthiest of diets. I also had parents that struggled with their weight, and my dad had a heart attack when he was in his 46. Had a massive heart attack when he was young. He survived it and went on numerous diets and crash diets. I remember at one point we were doing butter buds. I don't know if you know what that is. It's like the packet powdered butter, bacon bits, which my parents were trying. They were trying to lose the weight and trying to do what was right, but they were doing what society said. They were doing low fat, and they drug us along with them. So whatever they ate, we ate. And I'm full believer in that with my children as well. Whatever we eat, they eat. I don't make something different for them. So I understand why my parents did it. So I've just got to change that mindset of good food, bad food that I've had my whole life. Anyway, so that's where I came from. Here's my strategy for going forward. I'm not going to eliminate food groups. I'm not even going to eliminate processed food at this point, but I am going to make sure that 80% of the time that I am eating a variety of plant foods. And I want to increase my micronutrients. I'm not going to focus on the macronutrients, and I know that that's popular right now. So if you're not familiar, macronutrients are the fats, carbohydrates, and proteins. What I want to focus on is just getting those micronutrients, as many varieties of vegetables and fruits and grains and seeds to increase my gut microbiome to help restore it. And I'm not eliminating anything. As long as I am eating that way 80% of the time, I feel like I'm going to be doing good. The other thing is including fermented foods into my diet to help again with that microbiome. So fermented foods such as sauerkraut, kefir, kimchi, yogurt would be a big one. And I also want to do more sourdough. I'm in the process of making a sourdough starter, so it's going on like 7 days right now. I'm starting to see a little bit of activity. I had a lot of activity in the beginning, but I'll share that later. But anyway, so there's what my goal is for nutrition. Pillar number 2, movement and exercise. Okay, talk about my past, present, and what I want to do in the future. I have not always been overweight. I grew up, despite having a bad nutrition growing up, I was extremely athletic. And it was probably one of the saving graces why I was not extremely obese as a child, but I did have a lot of activities that I was involved in. I played outside a lot in my teens. I was on the swim team, and that took me on into graduating high school, and I lifeguarded for a long time thereafter. So I was always very athletic. Despite my weight, we are still very active. We hike on the weekends, we go walking during the weeks, but where I struggle with is more in mobility. The exercise I'm doing on the weeknights and weekends is not enough to offset the lack of mobility that I have the rest of the time. So, and when I say movement and exercise, there's a difference. Exercise is when you go to the gym and you exercise, you do HIIT training. Those are all exercise. As we do weight training 2 days a week where it's full body. Cardio, we go hiking, things like that. We bought stand-up paddle boards. We're doing that. Right now I can't stand up on it. I'm just paddling, sitting down. But eventually, as I get better in the next area that I'm going to talk about, I hope that I can eventually stand up. But the movement is more important to me. It's like being able to sit down on the floor and get up with a hands free. It's moving my body in ways. I find that I'm very stiff. I'm very inflexible. And I've never been a very flexible person. Even though I was athletic and I was strong and muscular, I've never been very flexible. I've always had tight muscles. And so I want to do yoga daily. Even if it's just get on the mat for 5 minutes and do a child's pose just to help relieve the stress. So that yoga will combat 2 areas really. It'll combat it'll be a moving meditation somewhat for the mindfulness and stress management. So I'm hoping that'll help negate some of those. They'll both help in both areas. But the other thing is my goal in the future is to do calisthenics. And right now, I can't even do a push-up. So I'm going to use some of the progressive exercises from Hybrid Calisthenics. I really love his channel. If you haven't checked it out, please check it out. He's wonderful. He's very positive. And he gives a lot of progressions that you can make when you are starting out. You can work yourself up to doing a push-up or a pull-up or etc. So those are my goals. So I'm going to document that along the way. Sleep. This is the area that I have done the most improvement in the last few months. And I will talk, there's still things I need to work on, but I will talk about how I improve my sleep. I think I need a separate video about the sleep and the changes I've made on that. So I will do a separate video about the changes made and what I need to do on that. So the next pillar is mindfulness and stress management. And here is where I need the most work. And it's probably one of the areas that I am going to be the most focused on, because the mindset that I have been in is very negative, have been for a long time. Like I said, this is a quest for self-love. and self-discovery. And one of the things that has hindered me the most is being mindful. And so I want to meditate on a regular basis. I want to journal. I did as a kid, and I think that really helped. And so I want to get back to that. I have sporadically done it in the past and saw the benefits of it, but I lose track of it and feel defeated and quit doing. So it's that all or nothing mentality again. So the meditation, the journaling, as well as cold therapy and heat therapy is something I'd like to include later on. Right now it's just doing the basics. So I'll let you know how those go. All right, so those are the 4 pillars. That's where I am now, what my plans are. So my next video is going to talk about the changes we've made to help with our sleep. And that's been a game changer. So I'm hoping those are things I've already made, and I'll share with you what has worked and what is working for us and what things we still need to improve on. Please comment if you have anything that you do that helps you on your journey or your quest. But anyway, I hope you join on this journey, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.